interactions. And always keep your eyes open. You will see how the lab works. And one of the most important thing I feel like to me, suppose if you will see everybody, like when you are doing interactions, the one of the most important thing, ask your PI what kind of projects he or she will assign you. Okay, a good PI will always give us different project to each individual in one lab, so that in lab people cannot compete, or you don't want to become a competitor in your own lab. So one thing to know how that PI is, to see if the PI is giving you completely different projects, not like same projects dividing between two. Second one is, see if the PI will let you work independently. There are some PIs you don't want to work under a postdoc all the time, because then what happened, you need your own first author paper. So you will start learning from the existing your senior PhD students or senior postdocs, but at the end of the day you want to have your own projects. There are certain labs where you will see some postdocs will grab all the projects and you will be always working under them. So what happens at the end of the day, no matter how much you work, the leading like that postdoc will be the first author and you will be the second author, or you will be like co-first author but your name will be second. That is also not good for your CV if you want to pursue a postdoc from there. Those kind of things, and see how like whether the PI listen. A good quality of a PI is to listen you if the PI has time. Some of the PIs are really like biggies, say chair of the department or holding a very like a higher post. They sometimes don't have time to come to your lab every single day, but make sure whenever they come, they sit with you, they have the time or patience to listen from you, and they give you some good advice. And if you are scared, if you feel like you are scared, you are intimidated by that PI, then don't join that. That's not going to help. So those are certain things I look for.
Okay, ma'am.
Now,
Thank
if
you.
you are applying for a postdoc position, that's little harder, I would say, because from here we can go give an interview, and it's an all-day interview process. We get the opportunity to go for a lunch date with the lab mates, and then we talk with everyone. And people are here very, how to say, straightforward. If they don't like their own PI, they will always tell you, like, you should expect these from this person, these. But from another country, when you are giving Skype interview, that's hard. So then I would suggest you to follow Dr. Mukherjee's suggestion. See what are the past, like how many past lab members and where they are right now. If they all shines in their field, and you can always make a personal contact with them. You can ask them question, how was that PI as an individual? So those kind of things you need to keep an eye on.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, if anybody have any question, they can also use the chat box. The second question is from, I think, Shohini Dashgupta. Shohini, you can ask your question. Shohini, can you hear me? Shohini Dashgupta, can you hear me? So is there any question? Shohini Dashgupta, can you hear me? So I don't think. Okay. Devoshmita Guho have one question. Devoshmita, please ask.
Hello, good evening.
Yes.
I want to ask Debjani ma'am, And I'm a BSc microbiology student, so I don't have any idea how to choose a PhD topic. Like, how can I understand that? Yeah, I can pursue my PhD and one particular topic. How to choose that?
Well, that's kind of complex question. First of all, as an undergrad, it's very hard to come up with a topic right now. When I was undergrad, I didn't even know what I will do on the next day. All I knew, I just have to make a good, score, like keep my GPA good and make my CV updated. That's all. So, and even, or to be honest, I don't know, maybe to you guys, like this generation are way more smarter. I didn't even know what I want to do, like, when I was in master student. So I then later, there are certain subjects, some topics I liked. It's a broad concept. Particular topic, it's very hard to come up with or to know before you join the department, or before you can know, like what kind of broad, like a very broad overview. Suppose I personally very like I was very fond of immunology, or I was very fond of, say, medical microbiology, that part, and that's all I know. That probably I would like to do research on medical microbiology, or probably I would like to do research in immunology. That's it. Uh, Sometimes when you will join in a lab, you will see there are different types of projects going on. So you don't have to know a really particular topic, or you don't have to narrow down any topic right now. When you are doing your undergraduate, especially, just keep your CV good, and then while you are doing masters, see what kind of research, or what kind of like theoretical knowledge, even what kind of coursework. I would say in our time there are several different topics, say recombinant DNA technology, say immunology, microbiology, medical microbiology. Which area, which part of your studies that like you are specially interested in, you really like, and you start thinking about it. Then if it possible, start to search some reviews paper, what kind of research going on in that topic on PubMed. And usually in every like I try to find a very recent review paper and see what kind of questions they people already ask and they already know, and what kind of question that different labs are asking right now, and then you can choose among them. But always have your options open, I would always say. No matter, suppose you really love, say, a role of tumor suppressor in cell cycle regulation, that's a very very narrow topic, and it will be very hard for you to find a particular lab, like, and the PI also needs to agree, right, to take you or to consider you as a potential candidate. So I would say right now, try to think about what kind of broad topic that you are interested in, and then try to start reading more papers. Maybe review papers will be a good start rather than the research journals. Easy to understand the reviews are, and then see what kind of research going on, which labs are doing really great research on that topic, and you will see in every lab website what are the projects going on, and from that project you can pick up like which will interest you more. So those kind of thing, I guess.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
You're
I have a
welcome.
question. Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Me? Yes.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question that my one friend was telling that he will go for industrial job just after the MSc. So, and you have told that it is very difficult just after MSc to go to the industrial job, and after PhD it is easy. Then only
In
after
US.
MSc.
In US. That's what
Oh,
I'm
okay, ma'am.
telling. I am not sure. You should ask the question, I guess, Dr. Chatterjee or Dr. Mukherjee or Pal. But in US, this is the
Okay, ma'am.
perspective. All my opinions and views are based on the current condition in this country.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
So I received two questions. So maybe I'll try to answer that. The first question was, I think one of the question is from Shohini. Shohini's question is about the opportunities of the internship opportunities in the field of the pharmacovigilance in companies like Lupin, so that we can have a hands-on experience and it adds to our CV. So a very good question, Shohini. So thanks for bringing this point. So I think many of you have the same question. So many of these organizations like Lupin, Dr. Reddy's, as well as Aurobindo Lab, as well as Novartis, GSK, they have internship positions, so they publish those internship positions. And most of these companies, however, directly do not keep the interns in the direct payroll. As for example, for Lupin, we have one payroll which is called the Fidelity payroll. For Novartis also, I remember, because I worked with them previously for around 9 years. So they have another third party who is actually providing the internship program. So all those internship programs are actually, as for example, for Fidelity, for they work for Lupin, so they're a third party contract company. So the intern will be in the payroll of Fidelity, but they will work for Lupin. Similarly, previously for Novartis, I remember that there is a company called Cyphomics, so where I also used to work for some time after I left Novartis. So, and they actually in their Cyphomics payroll, and they work for pharmacovigilance. So, if you search in the Monster as well as in Naukri.com, so you will be able to find out these jobs. So, and if you need further guidance on that, maybe you can contact Shamrat and Gautam, and they maybe direct the question to me. Shohini, does that help? I have another question. So, welcome, Shohini. So there is another question from Shonchari Godai. So she is asking that if we can just help about some brief explanation about the drug designing hands-on internship or master's level. Again, the different pharmaceutical companies. So as you know that in Indian companies, mainly the drug designing is we are means mostly doing on the generic drugs. So the drug designing per se, if you say that all the structural analysis and those things. So this really requires some bridging between what we have learned in our MScs and regular PhDs. And obviously there are companies who hire that for their lab. As for example, for Lupin, I know that they hire the candidate at the research scientist level in Pune as well as in Mumbai. For Novartis also, I know that they have a office in Hyderabad, Genome Valley, where they hire people at the junior level, and there you can have that hands-on experience. And those are wet lab work. And we have some research and structural analysis work as well, which we do in Lupin. So for that also, you will find out the jobs in the regularly in the job websites like Naukri, and Lupin also have post also those jobs. So maybe you can just search in the internet and you can find it out.
No,
And for there are some courses available. Yeah, sorry, Shamrat, you have a question?
no. I don't have any question, but I have a question from Rijwanul Haq. You also answered this. It's for everyone. Anybody can answer this question. That is, what kind of question should I expect in an integrated PhD interview? So the question is from Rijwanul. In way, what should I prepare myself for that? So that is a question for anybody. So maybe it's for Dr. Chandrama, Dr. Shobik, or Dr. Debjani.
Okay, so
Yeah,
so
Chandra.
my answer would be there is no such structured preparation. Usually for these integrated courses, you have to write a SOP. And the SOP also, you have to select the SOP depending on your interest. Suppose like you found that you liking that the cell biology part or the immunology part or say cancer biology. So you may pick up, you may go through PubMed, as Devjani mentioned earlier, that you may go PubMed, you may say what kind of research is going on, and then from that you can pick one topic and you can write a SOP. And usually for this type of those entrance exams, they are to based on your SOP primary. So they will ask you the general questions, and then specifically they will check your research aptitude or your overall like logical thinking and your critical analysis based on the SOP. So it is really difficult. to answer in straightforward way. Everything it depends on the SOP, what kind of research you are proposing. Because I just have some of my students, they just the last week they went for the second round of interviews for NCBS and TIFR. So mostly whatever the questions they are asked, those are based on their research proposals, what they have submitted when they have applied for the different programs. And that we have seen that these different places, that the initial questions will come or generated from the SOPs what the applicants have. That is my answer.
There is another question from Rachana Pramanik. In academic career after masters, would it be better to go abroad for pursuing PhD or after PhD for postdoc?
So this is from my personal experience, and other people, maybe we are on the same page. That suppose if you want to really you are looking for a job outside India, like for abroad, then it is always better to go for a PhD there. In any states, not in United States, in any other countries, if you are looking for a job in the other countries, then it is better to go for a PhD rather than going for a postdoc. Because what happens when you will go for a PhD, you will be there for a long time. Like as I mentioned, PhD is a long time journey. So there you will see, you will have that network. You may know many people, and whenever you are on that road. So it is always easier if you go for a PhD there to get some position in industry or in academia too, if you go for a PhD.
Yeah, I would completely agree with Chandramadi because, like I said in one of my slides, networking is very important. So, if you want to go back in your own home country and you wanna, settle down there, then probably PhD is the time, like more than postdoc, where when you will spend, like Chandramadi said, like 5 years, 6 years in one field, in one lab. So your networking will be a lot stronger. People from your own field where you are doing research, you will present your data very often. You will meet with your peer, your seniors, other professors from the same field. So if you do good, then they will know you, and that ultimately helps you wherever you are. And suppose you want to go back to your home country and settle down there, I would always tell that then you should pursue your PhD there and then apply for a postdoc to abroad.
Yes, and it is also not like a very general rule, I would say.
Yeah.
Because it's always like probability factors. It's not like that if you just go for a postdoc after your PhD, you will never got a job. No, because many of our friends who went for a postdoc there, they are in now different industries in US. So we are talking about just the success rate, the probabilities. For the earlier one, the probabilities are more compared to the latter option. Like if you go for a postdoc.
Even they become assistant professors also, a lot of people, and then associate professors, they pursue their career.
Okay, there is another question from Chilig Banerjee. How to apply for different government positions as food safety officer, microbiologist, or entomologist? Is there any particular exams occur? I think that question is basically for Sutoshi. But Sutoshi is there. Sutoshi is today very busy now and he is still working because of this COVID. Since it's a district microbiologist.
So let me just clear this up. So
Not there. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So with any government examinations, advertisements will be there in reading newspapers. So there are different recruitment boards. That is the health recruitment board recruits people for as microbiologists or food safety officers. There is the Public Service Commission, which you can apply through advertisements. They will give you an these. So like I said, Many of these post positions are specialized positions, not like WBCS or bank POs. So it's not a regular affair. It depends on the vacancies, right? So it may happen that you apply for it 2020, and the next opportunity may come in 2022 or 23, or it may come in 2021 also. So it's not a fixed affair. It depends on the vacancy for these specialized positions. But like for the DORDO examinations, I think they recruit every 2 to 3 years for the DORDO technical positions. With most of these positions, microbiologists, these are vacancy dependent. And you will, and every with as with any government jobs, advertisements will be there in leading newspapers and all.
I
If
think
that's helpful.
that's good. Thank you. So I think Dr. Shovik have some questions from in the chat box.
Yes, I think that,
Sir,
yeah, yes, go ahead, please. So I think there was one open question I can see from, I think one question was where to find out the jobs,
Right.
biotech jobs. Yeah. So to answer that question, that in LinkedIn, you will be able to find out the pharmacovigilance job and the clinical research associate jobs, while the and means corporate R&D jobs like the microbiologist and research associate and principal research scientist, those will be you will be able to find out the respective sites, as well as there are a couple of the Facebook pages are there where you will also able to find out these jobs.
Thank you, Shobik. Is there any question from anybody, from any participants?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
I have question. My question is to Shovik, sir. If I join an industry after my MSc, so I will be surely some low graded stuff there. So my question is that can I improve my position? That is promotion. Can I have some promotion, or how frequent is that promotion there? How the possibility?
So is it Sampad?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Sampad, may I ask you a question back? So why you think that you will be getting a low grade position after your MSc?
No, I
So
think I'm asking. I don't know actually. I'm just
so that was the thing which I think Chandrama, Devjani, Sutarshi, Samrat, Gautam, and myself were trying to address. So you be self confident that what you have learned is lot. So you have completed your graduation, you have completed your masters, and Indian master's degree is a very good master's degree. So you have a lot of knowledge. So explore it, and you be confident on your knowledge. So I'm sure that you will be able to get a job. Obviously, you will be not be able to, in the initially you will not be in the very senior position, may not be in the principal scientist, but maybe you can be a junior scientist, and that's the gateway. So uh, everybody who is passing after the MSc and PhD have the same gateway. You know, when I have joined in Novartis in 2007, I have joined as a junior associate, right? But if you perform well, then there is a chance of promotion, and then you perform consistently well, then your promotion will be faster. So that's the way to move forward. So you need a entry, and that entry point we are trying to give you some help, and Shamrat is trying to as Andragogy has arranged this, so we are trying to find out some solution for that. So I am confident that we will be able to find out some good job, and it's
thank you,
your interview which will actually give you the grade also.
sir. One more question. I have heard that in industry, there people move from one to another in a short time. That is, they have experience in a diverse position. Is that any beneficial?
Yeah. So actually, one point I think I just also mentioned because that is the same point which Debjani also mentioned, that what is the linkage between the academics and the industry. So there are multiple companies, who actually promote that you work as well as at the same time you complete your PhD. So maybe as if you are joining after your MSc, so maybe you can, as for example, I remember that Novartis also has some position, some collaboration with some universities who actually promote some kind of PhD degree. Ranbaxy used to have a very good kind of Sun Pharma also have that kind of program. So you can also explore that. And I don't think that initially shifting from one job to another job for a hike of the salary is not a very good idea. So most of the time, initially people shift from one company to another company, maybe in a year or two, because whenever in the industry first somebody joins, maybe I'm just giving some rough example. Please don't quote me in these numbers. So maybe they join with say salary of 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs, and whenever they are seeing that there is a next company is offering 5 lakh salary, so you can say that in 3 lakhs it's a 30% hike, right? So initially may people immediately shift to that job, but I think it's better to stick to one company and learn. So please invest some time in that company in learning. And once you learn that thing, then obviously maybe in 3 to 4 years or maybe in 5 years, you are good to go and have your next company.
Thank you, Shobik. There is another question. The question is to Dr. Chandrama. My question is to Chandrama, ma'am. Ma'am, after our graduation, should we go for MSc or sorry, it's gone.
No, should we go for MSc or integrated
Integrated
PhD?
PhD. If you can kindly say which should be the better option.
Uh, See, to me, it's always like if you are having an option for integrated one, you should go for that one. Why? Because when you are going for an integrated PhD course, there what you are going to do, you will have the MSc and the PhD. So, and if you actually, are can qualify for, because some places you have to keep a CGPA, a marks to after MSc to go for the PhD. So, if you just like keep those conditions satisfied by yourself, then you can have the PhD. And the advantage is here is that you, because you were there from MSc, so you know all the people there. You have the sense of belonging in that place. You know the labs very well. You know all the different professors who are there. So you don't have to waste your time when you are going for a PhD job after your MSc from a other university or institute, other places. So you have your time saved because you already are having 2 years MSc course. And the second thing is, nowadays, in many places, NET is essential. Without a NET, you are not eligible for a PhD. Like for example, in presidency, if there is no NET LS, they are not eligible for the PhD entrance test. So for those integrated courses, you are actually bypassing that requirement for NET, which is like a mandatory nowadays in many places for a PhD. So I think it's always better to go for an integrated PhD.
So thank you, Dr. Chandrama. I think it's a very good session. The question answer session is very good. It's very good. So people have a lot of questions, but we cannot take all the questions right now because we already have the time constraints. So now we can go for our vote of thanks. Will it be fine? So is it fine?
Shamrat, I think there is another question
fine.
left.
Okay, fine.
Probably this is for the, is there any sort of training for technical officers in government research institutes? I guess the technical officers are well paid. That I don't know, but I don't know.
So I think what I can say is, what do you mean by well paid? That differs from people to people. So if you mean a permanent government job, I think technical officers are permanent positions which previously the staff selection commission used to recruit. Now the PSC or the Health Recruitment Board does, and for the central also the staff selection commission, and I think the PSC also recruits. And for autonomous institutes, they themselves recruit. So these are permanent positions, and let me tell you something. Government jobs are not that well paying when you compare to industry jobs. I think because previously when I worked in the private sector, my at-hand salary was more than what I get now. So you have to understand what you want. And then again, it's if you have to evaluate what you think is good for you. That's a personal thing, right? So I think still people want to go for permanent government jobs, but yeah, I think it's good. If you're okay with it, it's fine.
Okay, then thank you very much for all our respected speakers. Thanks to Dr. Chandrama, Dr. Shobhik, Dr. Debjani, and Mr. Sutoshipal. Thanks to everybody. And I would like to thank all my participants who are here with this webinar. And this is our first webinar, and we still carry on this webinar. I think this is the first one, and within a month, we can go for the other two webinars also. Now, one thing I have to say in this meeting, that is everybody get their certificate, but one feedback form will be sent to your registered mail. I am talking about the participants. After submitting this form, you will get your participation certificate, and that has to be delivered in your registered email ID, which is with us. So thanks you once again for all my speakers and all my participants. So here we end our meeting. Thank you very much. Oh, I think, sorry, there is another question. So this is very informal meeting.
Yeah,
We don't make it formal. So after vote of thanks, we can take this question also. It's not an issue. Sir, last question, Debjani ma'am, kindly can you please say how get into our countries for PhD studies, like how to apply, or like do you need to go through GRE exams or any other exams? So that question is for
So, yeah. So, Monish, the thing is, for USA, I'm not sure about other countries, but for USA, most of the institute require GRE and TOEFL. And then there are certain institute who also would like to see subject GRE. I never gave subject GRE, so I'm not sure. But the institute that I have applied, GRE and TOEFL score was fine. But these days, I heard like one institute,
No. These days you don't need GRE. These days they remove GRE from this year.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what I'm going to tell. Not from every institute.
Not from, but most universities, they don't need GRE anymore. They only need the TOEFL.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, some of the institute, or at least one institute where my previous technician joined as a PhD, Case Western, he didn't need to give any GRE score. But the thing is, so that's my boss used to say, you don't need it. But what happened when say 10 10 applications come, international applications, and say 6 of them has a GRE score or subject GRE score, and then 4 of them don't, then sometimes although the universe, according to the rule book, you don't have to, but that kind of act as an advantage for them. Sometimes they prefer, because in this country you have to give GRE even for the undergrads. American undergrads also, they need to give GRE. Most of the cases, even they prefer to give GRE whenever, even when university don't require GRE, doesn't require GRE, still they give. Although I applied 12 years ago, so I'm not sure. Might be the rules have been changing. I know what Chandramati said, some institute don't require these days, but I cannot tell you like whether it is for all.
Yeah, because we had from our students who are now looking for the PhD position. So they are telling me that these days they don't require a GRE.
Okay.
But you need to have a 1-year research experience and you have to write a good proposal. And
Yeah, and
minimum
like
a
SOP.
publication. Yeah, and a publication. That's now
Yeah.
they are really looking for.
Yeah, that is something we didn't have to go through, like when we gave, like when we
Yeah.
applied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Ah, true.
Yeah.
things have changed.
Yeah, SOP is
Oh my
important.
God.
Even what Chandramouli said, for even PhD application, you need to write a good statement of purpose. What happened?
No, it's happened load shedding because of the current.
Oh,
But my machine is working right now. So you don't have to worry about this. My picture gets distorted, but otherwise everything is fine. Not an issue. Because there is too much of rain today. Chandrama also have the same problem, I think, because that's why Chandrama used to
yeah.
stay very close to my house. So Shrutoshi, everything is fine. So I don't think there is any question for this. So can we end here right now? So thank you very much once again for everybody, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye all.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.